Hey friends, today I am going to take you along with me and do a little homemaking, a little bit of cleanup, and show you how to make the easiest, most delicious sourdough chocolate banana bread. This recipe is actually super simple. If you have extra ripe bananas around the house that you want to use, instead of throwing them away, make chocolate banana bread. It is, if you love chocolate, you will love this chocolate banana bread. It's actually a double chocolate banana bread because it has many chocolate chips in it. So the recipe is 3 ripe bananas. You mash them with a fork. This is a 1 bowl recipe, so it's super simple to make. So in 1 medium-sized mixing bowl, you're going to mash your 3 ripe bananas with a fork, and it comes out to be about 1 3/4 cup of mashed bananas. And then to that, you're going to add your wet ingredients and your brown sugar. So it's 1 cup of sourdough starter. It can be a sourdough starter that's active, or it can be a discard out of the refrigerator. Both of them will work great in this recipe. And then I'm adding 2/3 cup of brown sugar. You could use white sugar, but the brown sugar gives it a little bit more flavor and a little bit more volume to your loaf. And then 1/2 cup of oil. I am using avocado oil here. Nope, I'm using olive oil here, but avocado oil would also go great. I like to use those two as opposed to a vegetable oil, which would also work. But I like the avocado and the olive oil just because they're healthier for you. And then 2 large eggs to that. And then just use a whisk or your fork and whisk that together really well till the eggs are well combined with the sugar, the oil, sourdough starter, and the bananas. And then once you get that all stirred into your bowl, then you're going to add your other dry ingredients. So your all-purpose flour, your vanilla extract, which could go with the wet or dry ingredients, 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa. I'm using Hershey's cocoa here. 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. The baking soda reacts with the sourdough starter or discard and just helps it really be a nice fluffy loaf and leaven very nicely. And then I'm going to stir that all together until you don't see any more dry ingredients in your bowl and it's nicely combined, but you don't want to overmix it because that would make it tough. So once you get it all combined where you don't see any more dry flour or any more dry ingredients, then you're going to add 1 cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. I really love the Ghirardelli brand. I am kind of a chocolate snob. It's got to be good chocolate. But the Ghirardelli is wonderful, and the mini chocolate chips are perfect because they're evenly distributed throughout this loaf and they don't go to the bottom. They're not too heavy and they're not too big of chunks of chocolate in your mouth, but really complement if you like a double chocolate loaf of bread. And then you just mix that together, fold in your chocolate chips, mix it all together, and then you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and butter a 9 by 5-inch loaf pan really well, especially in the corners. I use butter. You could probably use a spray, but just make sure that you get it into the corners really well because this will stick if you don't butter your pan really well. I really love these Ghirardelli mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. They really work well in this recipe because they are light and small, so you just get little bits of them throughout the loaf instead of big chunks, and it just makes for a very even double chocolate loaf, and it's just delicious. So I highly recommend those if you haven't tried them. This chocolate sourdough banana bread is such an indulgent treat. It is definitely a dessert and a wonderful after-school snack. This loaf was gone on the first day, and that was a good thing because it was very tempting. You'll notice after I am done filling my loaf pan that I am going to let it rest on my counter for about 10 minutes while my oven preheats, and that's just to let the dough ferment a little bit, and it actually rises a little bit from the combination and the chemical reaction between the sourdough starter and the baking soda. So I just let that sit there for about 10 minutes and do its thing while I do a little cleanup in my kitchen. Let your chocolate sourdough banana bread cool for about 10 minutes before you take it out of the loaf pan. I took this out a little bit early, but definitely run a knife around the edges and loosen it with your knife before turning it out and putting it on a cooling rack or a cutting board. And then let it cool all the way before you slice it. I did not let mine cool all the way before I sliced it, and it definitely was harder to cool. It smells so good that you're going to want to cut into it and eat it right away, but you will have a better cut if you let it cool all the way first. Really, it doesn't matter too much. As long as you get it out of the pan in one piece, it is delicious, hot or cool. Just slices a little bit easier if it's cool. As always, I will link this recipe in the description box below. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments below. I do check those every day and respond to those. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope this gave you guys a little bit of inspiration and a recipe to try. I'm just going to give you a close-up shot of what this looks like coming out of the oven, freshly cut. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and we'll see you next time.